He's been my healer and my deliverer. Oh, I've got a right to praise the Lord. He's been my healer and my deliverer. I've got a right to praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I've got a right to praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I've got a right to praise the Lord. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Come on. Praise him in the morning. Praise him at the noonday. Praise your Lord, 'cause he's been good to you. Whoa, oh, come on. Let's, come on. If you don't believe that I've been redeemed, just follow me down to that Jordan stream. I stepped in the water. I stepped in the water, and that water was cold. Oh Lord, it was cold, but it chilled my body. It chilled my body, but not my soul. Whoa, oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. If you don't believe that I've been redeemed, won't you follow me down to that Jordan stream? I stepped in the water. I stepped in that water, and that water was cold. It chilled my body, but not my soul. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. And praise your Lord every day of your life. Just praise your Lord, 'cause he's been good to you. I know he's been good. I know he's been good. He's been good to me every day of my life. Every day of my life. He's been good to me. I've got a right. I've got a right to praise my Lord. I've got a right. You've got a right. Every day of my life, just praise, 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 praise the
God bless you. The Lord bless you real good, and the Lord keep you. Shall we bow our heads, please? Father, we thank you for this moment that we have to glorify your name, expound upon your word, fellowship with one another, bathe our souls in the truths of those songs that was sung, prayer that was done. Now, Father, you understand and you know all the situation. I just ask for a little while. Father, you shift me into preaching gear. You do that, I'll be much obliged. Amen. Lord bless you real good. Lord keep you. Let's look at 14th chapter rather of Matthew. 14th chapter of Matthew, verses 22 through 33. 14th chapter of Matthew. Shall we stand for the reading of the word? Let's read together, please. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get to a boat and go before him into the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And he was come, but the boat was not tossed by the wave, for the wave was contrary. Verse 25. Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a spirit." And they cried out of fear. But straightway Jesus spoke unto them, "Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid." And Peter answered him, saying, "Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto you." And he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink. He cried, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said, "O thou little faith, why didst thou doubt?" And when they had come into the boat, the wind ceased. And those who were in the boat came, worship him, saying, "In truth, thou art." God bless you. You may be seated. I want to speak to us on the subject, God is calling you. He's calling for you. It's interesting to note that when we have our difficulties and when we are in ambivalence, not knowing which way to turn and not satisfied with making one decision or another, the way get clouded, the way get dark, and sometimes we respond in the same manner. The important thing is to remember that much of our fears, much of our ambivalence, much of our dissatisfaction is the result of our own choosing. We chose to not obey, or we choose to not believe. We choose to not trust God. And when the way get hard and rough and we complain that yes, things are real bad and look like they're going from bad to worse. Every time I make one step forward, seems like I make another step back. But to be honest about it, we have no more than ourselves to believe. We have no ourselves to blame. We have ourselves to blame. You see, we can't change, we can't control circumstances in all cases. We can control situations and conditions in all cases. We just have to take what is given us and make the most out of it. Do the best we can. The energy that we spend complaining, finding fault, pointing fingers, can be used in a positive way. And so then I'm not going to be long with this. I don't think I will, but again, once you get in preaching gear, you put it on autopilot, and then the Spirit moves as God's command. But this is what I feel He's saying to me today. So we'll find out. And so when we're going through our storms, let us find comfort in the fact that, first of all, we need to understand that Jesus brought us there. Jesus said to them, let us. He didn't say, y'all go to the other side. He said, let us. That's the voice of friendship. Us. The voice of companionship. Us. The voice of commitment. Let us. A voice that asserts that whatever happened to you going to happen to me. Let us. We are not by ourselves. And so then if you want to, for your comfort today, let me say to you, wherever you are, and whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, let me say this to you. Remember that wherever you are, he brought you there.
That's right. That's
right. And another thing to remember, that wherever he is, and wherever he brought you, he can care for you there. You don't have to be in a palace for him to care for you. Matter of fact, you can be in a pit like Joseph. He'll take care of you there. You can be in the hog pen. He can keep you there. You can be in the lion's den. He can keep you there. If he bring you to the fiery furnace, he can keep you there. I think I'm talking to somebody here. I feel myself shifting. I think I'm getting to the gear. Yeah, so wherever you are, be of great comfort. He brought you there. He did not send you there. He brought you there. And he says to you, let us go through this trouble. Let us go through this suffering. Let us go through this sickness. Let us go through this struggle. Let us face the lawyer and the judge. Let us deal with that child. Let us deal with that son. Let us deal with that. Do you get the point? Wherever you are, whatever you're going through, let us deal with it. Got foreclosure, folks have given you a bad telephone call and giving you a bad report. He says to you, let us deal with it. You don't have to deal with it by yourself. Let us deal with it. You see, you got some knowledge, you got some understanding, and you got some know-how. But you see, I got something that you don't have. So I got grace. If we do that, we'll be all right. He brought them there, and he can care for us wherever he brings us. He became, it's because of this experience, he was in the will of God. That's the important thing. Unlike Jonah. Jonah was caught in the storm because Jonah was disobedient, running away from God. These disciples were in a storm because they had obeyed Jesus. That makes all the difference in the world. So then whatever you're going through, whatever you're facing, whatever you're dealing with, ask yourself the question, am I here because of some mishap of my own? Am I here because I spoke wrongly to my mate, wrongly? Am I here because of some misdeed of my own? Or am I here because honestly, deep down in my heart, I felt that God was leading me to make this decision? That makes all the difference in the world. But even when I think that he's leading me to make a decision, I still might be wrong. That's okay. He knows the heart. It's not deliberately doing wrong. It's doing wrong perhaps out of the result of an impure nature, out of the result of conflict in my personality. But he have allotted for that. said to Solomon, your father David wanted to build a house, but he didn't do it. I didn't let him do it because of the fact that he had shed too much blood. But it was well that it was found in his heart to do it. He wanted to do it. He didn't do it because I wouldn't let him do it. But by George, he wanted to build me a house. And so then the storm, listen to me, storms are for two purposes. First of all, I want to say storms are used for correction. Secondly, storms are used for perfection. Do we have some scripture? Matthew 8, 23 through 27. And when he had entered into the boat, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest on the sea, insomuch that the boat was covered with waves, but he was asleep. See, this is another situation. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, because we perish. And he said unto them, why are you fearful, O ye of little faith? And he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and that was a great calm. You see, what happened there is that he used the storm to correct the insufficiency of their faith. He used the storm to perfect their faith. He used the storm to get them a step further. And there are times he'll use the storm to correct us in some error that we have. And he used the storm to perfect us. You see that in this particular scripture. The disciples are being perfected. And I'll show you why in a little while. Another thing you want to remember, that when you are in the storm, remember Jesus is in heaven. Now they were in the storm, and he were in the mountain area watching them. But now, when his people today, when we modern Christians get in the storm, he's not in the mountain watching. He's on the right hand of the Father, making intercession. Father, give them strength. Father, help them to hold out until that change comes. He's in heaven. Am I helping somebody? He's in heaven. Remember that right now. You're going through your storm. Remember that he is in heaven, petitioning his Father. Don't let it get the best of them. You remember when Peter was a little bit off, he said to Peter, Peter, Satan decided to sift you like wheat, but I prayed for you. Everything will be all right. I prayed for you. I know your mother prayed for you. I know your father prayed for you. Your grandparents prayed for you. But Peter, I want you to know that I have prayed for you, that your faith fail not, and it will not fail. And when you are converted, strengthen your brother. It's already done. Christ has prayed for your victory. Christ has prayed for your steadfastness. Christ has prayed that you hold out. Christ has prayed that you be unmovable. Christ has prayed that you stand in the will of God. He has already prayed for you. You got to believe that. You got to know this, and you got to trust him. And so then he's in heaven, praying that our faith fail not. He's praying for us in heaven, that our faith does not collapse, and that we don't give in. Hang in there. Don't let the pressure of it. Listen. Another thing, third thing you want to know, that when you are in the storm, know that he will not abandon you. He will not forsake you while you're going through your storm. If you don't believe me, look at Isaiah 43, 1 through 2. But now does the Lord who created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. You haven't been redeemed by corruptible stuff as silver and gold. You haven't been saved by the blood of goats. I redeem you. The great God of heaven, I redeem thee. I have called thee by thy name. I know you personally. Thou art mine. That's possession. I redeemed you, brought you back. I know your name. I've called you by your name. It's not just a group. I know you personally. I know exactly what you're going through. I know your fingerprints. A lot of you around here got complaint and so forth, and you want to see me, and some doing this and some doing that. But Zacchaeus, I see you in that sycamore tree. In the midst of all these other people around here, I see you, Zacchaeus. I know your name. And he called him Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus says, he know my name. Then he told Zacchaeus, come down, I got to abide at your house. And Zacchaeus said, you know where I live. Do you see the particulars? I think the Holy Spirit helping me to pick this thing apart, huh? Yeah. And so he knows your name, he knows where you are, he knows what you're going through, and he knows what you're facing. And look what he says also in the Psalm, what David said in the Psalm 37 and 25. David said, I've been young. Y'all might laugh at me, but what y'all going through, I'm passed through that already. What y'all trying to get to work, I already know that's not going to work. He said, I've been young and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken. I've seen a whole lot of things. I've seen people change. I've seen this. I've seen that. He said, but one thing I haven't seen. I've never seen God forsake the righteous. I've never seen that seed begging for bread. What you telling me, David, that God take care of his own? That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. God will take care of his own. You trust God. Make your decision and leave the results to God. I'm coming to a close, maybe. And so then when we look at this, we say, okay, before we close, I want to show you something about Peter's failure. Why Peter failed? Peter failed because, you got to get this, he looked at conditions rather than at Christ. He looked at the conditions. He didn't look at Christ. As long as he looked at Christ, he was all right. And when you look at your condition, you stand a greater chance to fail. Condition does not always look favorable. Condition does not always reflect reality. We look at the condition and we're going to fail. But if we keep our eyes on Christ, another time in relationship, we look at the condition and the eyes are taken off of Christ and they begin to focus on what I do, the sacrifice I make, what I give. I'm not getting equal return. When we take our eyes off of Christ, we only see it negative in other people. We don't see the positive.
You've been watching services from the First Community Antioch Baptist Church, located in Lutcher, Louisiana, under the leadership of Pastor Ferdinand Gaines Jr. Pastor Gaines would love to hear from you directly. Write us at First Community Antioch Baptist Church, P.O. Box 1205, Lutcher, Louisiana, 70071.